Transitioning from a job to starting a business at 50 is a significant shift that requires careful consideration. Our guest today is Danielle Jarnot, who will discuss her transitional journey.
Welcome to Business Matters, a presentation of the Chamber Coalition, which comprises the New American Chamber of Commerce, the African American International Chamber of Commerce, and the Hispanic American International Chamber of Commerce. To become a chamber member, be a guest, or register for our events, go to www.nacc.nyc. That's www.nacc.nyc, or call us at 718-722-9217. That's 718-722-9217.
Welcome, Ms. Jarnot. So good to have you here with us. So if you could
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. So if you could please tell us about yourself, what inspired you to transition from your job to starting your own business at this stage in your career and life?
Well, first and foremost, Pearl, thank you so much for having me on the show. Really appreciate everything that your organization does to help small businesses. As you had mentioned, I'm Danielle Jarnot. I've recently founded More Consulting with a background in sales and sales enablement. Transitioning into entrepreneurship has been a significant shift and a continuation of my passion for driving growth and helping teams to optimize their sales process. What prompted me to make this kind of a shift at this point in my career is what prompts a lot of people. I was part of a corporate restructuring and, found myself, looking in the job market and not finding roles that really helped me to get to what I would like to find as the next stage in my career. And, in the conversations that I had speaking, with colleagues, with friends, with people in my network, I found I've spent years developing experience and skills that can really help people. And the more I spoke about it, the more I realized that, this would be the right time for me to start doing this as an independent consultant.
Okay, so this is the right time. So you spoke about your experience. How do you go about leveraging your previous work experience in your new venture?
Sure. Having delivered results, in, B2B sales and, for over a decade now, I found myself drawn to using this expertise on a broader scale. It took a leap of faith and a little bit of imagination, but I realized that I have been doing consulting work in my previous roles, and as many people do. I mean, for me, I've facilitated workshops and I've created content and I've put together campaigns and optimized operations, and realized that this is something that that every business, whether it's a small business to a large organization, struggles with. And it really just took a bit of time for me to pull together what kind of an offering would have helped me in my previous roles, and how can I bring that to other teams.
So you mentioned taking that leap of faith, and for all entrepreneurs, there are always challenges. What challenges have you faced as a mature entrepreneur, and how do you plan to overcome them?
Well, I mean, the great thing about starting out, at this stage in my life is that I have the experience, I have the confidence in my experience and my skills. The not so great part of being an entrepreneur is that you have a lot of responsibilities. I have a family to take care of. I've got one more to send off to college. You have to keep the lights on, and starting a business, with all of that in motion can be scary. You want to make sure that you have enough working capital while you're ramping up your business in order to take care of all of your responsibilities, and and replace that that salary that that we've all enjoyed in our in our careers. Consulting can be feast or famine.
And you talk about responsibilities and finances always a issue or concern, capital for startups, even businesses looking to expand. So what steps have you taken to prepare financially for this transition? And how do you plan to balance the risk of starting a business with your financial security and all the responsibilities that you have at this stage?
Sure. I mean, first and foremost, you need to look at your bank account. You need to think about what you're offering, how much capital is needed to, to start that. How can you be as lean as possible with your business expenses in order to, to have that runway while you're still in growth mode. I have actively sought to educate myself on, on the business management aspects essential to running a successful business. Understanding, registering and and getting the proper licenses in place, which I'm still working on. But seeking advice from seasoned advisors, my financial advisor, and going out in your network, looking, I looked through my network to see who has made a career transition, who has gone from corporate to entrepreneurship, and and people are really open to having that conversation and sharing what worked for them, what were the pitfalls, what to look out for. I feel very fortunate for for the people that I've reached out to. If I had any advice for someone starting out on their own, I would say you're really not alone. People are incredibly generous with their time and their insights.
Okay, and this leads me to my next question. Are there any insights or lessons that you've learned from your previous career and even in this transition, as you move into your new entrepreneurial journey that you'd like to share to inspire with other persons?
Anyone who knows me, I've had two different spots in the consulting world. Early in my career, I worked with Deloitte Consulting, doing project management and administrative work. And later in my career, I was with a wholly owned subsidiary of BCG, doing market development and sales, into financial services. Anyone who's ever heard me talk about consulting, I usually describe it as, a lot of consultants are people who have an idea, have a framework, and walk into an established organization and want you to change everything you do to fit inside their box. And when it breaks, it's time to pay them more for that. And I really want to bring to my clients a different feeling. I want them to see that I've been the client, I've sold to the client. I've done the strategy work, helping teams to really put clients at the center of things. And that's something, what I bring from my corporate experience is really the disciplined strategic decision-making framework that I've honed over my career to assess risks thoughtfully, and balance them against potential opportunities, but really, trying to be as customer centric as possible. My job is to help my clients help their clients to solve their challenges and provide solutions that that will help them in their business. So it's I think that navigating the uncertainties of entrepreneurship while sustaining growth for for my own business really puts clients at the center of it. And I think a lot of what I've taken and had the had the great fortune of working with some amazing people, who really helped me to hone those frameworks over the years.
So as women, we always juggle lots of things and we have so many different roles. How do you envision your work-life balance changing as you transition from a traditional job to owning and running your own business? And also, how do you plan to maintain your health and well-being while managing the demands also of a business?
I really appreciate that you're asking that question. It was something I struggled with in the first couple of months, and I did have to take a step back and take inventory. It's really about time management. In some respects, I've really enjoyed the flexibility of the work that I'm currently doing, and I get to be there, after school when my son comes home, or have a little more time to to fit exercise in. I prioritize exercise and sleep. Those are really the two things that help me to be at my best. Um, but it's the little things. It's being able to to have that time in the middle of the day to to walk the dog, or have a conversation with my daughter. I'm still I don't know that anyone is great at work-life balance. I think it's it's a daily thing. There are some days where I'm working from sun up to sundown, and some days where I can just relax and enjoy some family time. So it's an evolving balance for me.
So, you just gave your secret to being looking so radiant because you do not look 50 plus at all. So sleep and exercise, basic,
Sleep and
right?
exercise, and I'm and it's funny. I'm not I'm not exercising the way I was when I was younger. Exercise over 50 is humbling at best. But I e even if it's just getting a long walk in, it's really it's really trying to make sure, and I track it. Like, hey, have I gotten steps in today? Hey, when was the last time that I actually, took a bike ride, or or did a workout? And I'm coming to find that when I don't prioritize that, a lot of a lot of my my energy really suffers.
Okay. So going back to your business, what is your long-term vision and how do you plan to achieve it?
You know, I've been incredibly, grateful to, the clients and prospective clients that I've spoken with, my support network. I really feel that, I have the right, data-driven strategies and frameworks that will help my clients with sales strategy and sales enablement. Honestly, I had never heard of sales enablement prior to a few years ago. And now, and now I'm seeing it everywhere, from startups and VCs, and private equity, requiring that their companies have a sales enablement function. My goal is really to expand my reach and continually refine, the methods that I've seen work. That and I always put myself in the client's shoes. If I was a client, what would I care about? How can this, offering or product help them accomplish their goals? And I think coming into it with that kind of experience, my vision is to be able to take on, a number of clients. I've enlisted a few of my favorite, facilitators and strategists, to help me to handle some of the workload that is coming in. So, becoming a leader in the sales enablement field, and continuously, like growing our business to support support clients and expand our reach to really help sales teams to put clients at the center of things.
So what advice would you give to other individuals in a similar position considering leaping into entrepreneurship later in life?
Well, I know we touched on this earlier in the podcast, but harness your network. They are invaluable assets that can dramatically streamline your path to entrepreneurship. Reach out to the Chamber of Commerce. There are so many resources and networking opportunities there. And embrace continuous learning. I love the fact that even in the past 6 months, I've continued to learn, grow, understand, new trends and be proactive in seeking new opportunities. Worst case scenario, you reach out to someone and they say no. If you don't ask, the answer is definitely no. So it cannot hurt to ask.
It cannot hurt to ask. You can get yes or no. So at this, in this new chapter of your career, success means different things to different people, but how would you define success?
For me, success would really be obviously replacing my corporate income, and that seemed scarier at the start. Then it's developed into something very, very manageable. So definitely want to continue to live in a good lifestyle and pay all of my bills and take care of my family. But success also means being able to utilize all of the experience that I have and get the frameworks and strategies that I know are impactful for teams out there. So being able to scale my business and help teams to grow.
So how can one find out more about you, connect with you, check out your business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I, like everyone else, I am on LinkedIn, Danielle Jarnot. And, feel free to reach out, to connect with me, send me a message. You can book an appointment, right on my LinkedIn page. I'd be happy to, have a conversation, whether, you're looking to help your sales teams achieve their goals, or if you're, starting your own business and just looking for someone to have a conversation with, I'm here.
All right. So thank you so much, Ms. Danielle Jarnot.
Thank you so much, Pearl.
You're so welcome. Much success to you, and stay looking fabulous.
You do the same. You do the same.
Thank you.
You bet.
You are invited to the Chamber Coalition Small Business Sense Bootcamp. Join our 5-session webinar series where we provide education and business preparation for small business owners and startups. Learn the basics of business planning, how to finance your business alternatives and your credit as an asset, marketing and social media strategies, small business solutions, legal, tax, accounting, banking, and insurance, and how to do business with the government and corporations. Register at startupsbootcamp.eventbrite.com.